In 2010, someone bought a basic washer with knobs and a metal tub. It ran for a decade with one cheap belt change. Fast forward to 14 months ago, you paid $1,500 for a brand new touchscreen machine. A $5 plastic clip snaps, and the whole thing becomes a silent statue. Then the technician shows up, looks at the model, does that sigh, and says the line that kills your weekend. Honestly, it's not worth fixing. So here is the question. How did we go from machines you keep for 10 to 20 years to machines that become high-end junk before the second birthday? Today, we are opening the Mechanics Blacklist, 9 appliance brands that routinely leave people stranded, and not just because they break, but because the repair path is blocked by parts, service, or design. And no, this is not a hate video. This is a protection video. Why? Because it is not bad luck. It is how the system is being built. If you want the whitelist after this, the brands a technician would actually keep at home, subscribe. We are not stopping the investigation. To make this list, a brand has to hit 3 strikes. I see these patterns in the shop every week. 1. Repeat failures. Same model, same break, same spot. Over and over, not 1 unit, not 2. Whole batches. That is not wear, that is a pattern. 2. The parts wall. Back orders, the discontinued boards, or parts priced so high the repair becomes a joke. 3. Anti-repair design, sealed tubs, glued assemblies, and one tiny sensor forcing a full control board replacement. Some brands do not fail more. They fail worse because the machine is designed so a small problem becomes a total loss. Now we name names. Today, you walk into an appliance store and you are not buying machines. You are buying computers disguised in a stainless steel. Everything comes with touch screens, proximity sensors, and the smart modules that promise to make your life easier. They sell you the idea that your washer needs Wi-Fi and your refrigerator needs a weather display, wrapping basic functions in a layer of unnecessary complexity. But here is the part people miss. The problem is not technology. Technology used correctly should make diagnostics faster and efficiency higher. The problem is when that technology is designed to convert a routine failure into a write-off. In older machines, what if a bearing made noise or a valve leaked? You replace that specific part for a few dollars, and the unit ran for another decade. Today, components are intertwined so tightly that electronics become a financial executioner. A $3 sensor is tied to a $500 board. If the sensor fails, the board dies. If the board dies, the brain of your investment shuts down. Simple mechanical parts are now buried inside sealed modules that cannot be opened without destroying them. Screws get replaced by thermal rivets and industrial glue, and the result is the same conversation over and over. The machine still looks perfect on the outside, but it is a useless brick on the inside. This is not a random mistake. It is a design trend that often makes repair financially absurd, pushing the only logical exit to be buying a new unit. Now we move to the brands themselves. Some will surprise you, but once you see the patterns, you will understand why technicians dread them. Number 1. Samsung, the circuit breaker. If you see a Samsung appliance, think of this: digital fragility. When it fails, it is not just a part change, it is a total neurological collapse. Samsung builds beautiful machines, but they treat a refrigerator like a smartphone. The pattern is clear. Their control boards are hypersensitive to the slightest voltage fluctuation. A tiny moisture leak near a sensor does not just blow a fuse, it fries the entire main processor. And here is where the bill becomes the trap. A $15 moisture sensor fails, but because it is integrated into a complex proprietary loom, it ends up as a $600 motherboard invoice plus labor. And here appears the trick. their parts go out of stock faster than their phone models. If your machine is more than 4 years old, you might find that the specific board you need is listed as no longer available. That is not an accident. It is a service chain that pushes you to upgrade, not repair. 2. LG, the linear gamble. When moving from the brain to the heart of the machine, we hit LG. If you see this logo, think of this: the compressor clock. While Samsung fails in the head, LG fails in the chest. Their famous linear inverter compressors are marketed as silent and efficient, but in the field, they are the kings of premature death. The pattern is a slow loss of cooling that eventually turns your expensive French door fridge into a very large closet that the repair turns into a financial dead end. A $100 mechanical tolerance issue inside the compressor results in an $800 repair bill because you have to evacuate the gas, weld new lines, and replace the entire heart of the unit. The kicker, even if it is under part warranty, the labor costs are so high that the technician will tell you it is better to buy a new one. It is not bad luck. It is a design that prioritizes a marketing gimmick over mechanical longevity. 3. The Whirlpool modern low-end, the plastic trap. And speaking of hearts that stop beating, let's talk about the brand everyone thought was safe. Whirlpool, specifically their recent budget-friendly laundry lines. If you see these models, think of this: structural disposable. The pattern here is not electronic, it is purely physical. They have replaced heavy-duty metal transmissions with plastic splutch systems and thin actuators. The financial blow: a $30 plastic cam cracks. But because the entire tub is now often a sealed or riveted unit in newer designs, that tiny crack turns into a $500 basket and drive replacement. You went from a simple fix to a bill that represents 80% of the original price. At that point, it becomes a replacement-only outcome. Continuing down the blacklist, we move from the high-tech failures of the giants to the world of aesthetic engineering and global outsourcing. But the next 3 brands are masters at looking premium on the outside while being structurally hollow on the inside. 4. Frigidaire, the frost trap. If you see a Frigidaire unit, think of this: thermal inconsistency. While Samsung fries boards and LG kills compressors, Frigidaire fails in its basic circulation. The pattern is the ice ball syndrome. The evaporator coils are so thin and the defrost heaters so poorly positioned that the unit eventually turns into a block of solid ice while choking the airflow. You will see your food spoiling while the freezer looks like the Arctic. This is the bait and a switch in dollars. A $40 defrost thermostat fails, but because the wiring is often foamed into the cabinet or clipped with non-reusable plastic, the official fix involves replacing the entire evaporator assembly for $450. And here's the kicker: their plastic interior components, drawers, and rails are notoriously brittle. You start with a cooling issue and end up with a fridge where every shelf is held together by duct tape. It is not an accident. It is a materials cost race to the bottom. 5. Electrolux, the luxury illusion. Following its sibling Frigidaire, we find Electrolux. If you see this brand, think of this: over-engineered fragility. Electrolux positions itself as the premium choice, but in the repair world, it is just a more expensive version of the same headaches. But the pattern here is sensor chaos. They pack their ovens and dishwashers with so many sensitive touch interfaces and eco-sensors that the steam from the appliance can short-circuit the controls. The financial blow: a $20 thermal fuse or a simple door latch. Sensor is buried so deep behind proprietary panels that it takes 3 hours of labor just to diagnose. You're looking at a $550 repair bill for a machine that costs $1,200. That is not a repair decision, but that is a financial dead end. The remate, their parts distribution is a nightmare. You will be told your premium oven is unserviceable because a specific ribbon cable is on a 6-month back order. It is not a breakdown. It is a service chain designed to make luxury feel disposable. 6. Beko, the outsourced mystery. Linking the budget luxury feel of Electrolux to the entry-level market, we hit Beko. If you see this logo, think the ghost support. Beko has flooded the market with sleek, European-style designs at half the price, but the pattern is structural fatigue. They use ultra-thin metals and low-grade seals that begin to warp and leak right as the short warranty expires. The financial blow, a $15 rubber gasket or a drain pump fails. But because the brand lacks a robust domestic parts infrastructure, that tiny part becomes an unsolvable $350 problem. And once the parts network is missing, the whole machine becomes a replacement-only outcome. You will call 5 technicians and 4 will refuse to touch it because they cannot get the diagrams or the components. It is not a malfunction. It is a lack of ecosystem. Beko proves that a cheap machine becomes the most expensive one you will ever own the moment it stops working. We have reached the final tier of our list, and these last 3 names represent the most frustrating corner of the appliance industry. Prestige that masks a structural decay, but some legacy brands that sold their soul for a higher profit margin. 7. Blomberg, the disposable European. If you see a Blomberg appliance, think of this: engineering without support. Blomberg is the sophisticated cousin of entry-level brands, selling you on a sleek, compact European efficiency that looks perfect in a modern apartment. However, the pattern we see in the shop is hydraulic failure. Their dishwashers and washers use complex but proprietary pump systems and the specialized seals that are incredibly sensitive to hard water and minor debris. The financial blow is a classic engineering trap. A $60 circulation pump fails. But because Blomberg uses unique, non-universal fittings and integrated sensor housings, you are forced to buy the official complete assembly, which retails for $380. And here is the link to our criteria. Finding a technician who even possesses the diagnostic software or the service manuals for a Blomberg is nearly impossible in most regions. It is not just a breakdown, it is a technological island. You bought a premium machine that becomes a boat anchor the second it leaks, because the infrastructure to fix it does not exist outside a few major hubs. 8. Kenmore, the identity crisis. If you see Kenmore, think of this: the Frankenstein trap. When this is one of the saddest entries on the list because of the deep trust generations of families still place in the name. The reality is simple. Kenmore does not actually build anything. They slap their logo on machines made by LG, Samsung, or Frigidaire based on whoever won the manufacturing contract that year. The pattern is diagnostic confusion. Since the guts of the machine change constantly, but even a seasoned pro will not know which parts, manual, or wiring diagram to use until they physically rip the unit apart to find the hidden manufacturer stamps. The financial blow is a slap in the face. You think you're buying old-school American reliability, but you are actually paying for a $300 part from another brand already on this blacklist, plus a middleman markup for the Kenmore badge. The kicker: when it breaks, the different manufacturers point fingers at each other, though leaving you in a customer service loop from hell. You are not buying a product. You are buying a badge on a mystery box. It is not bad luck. It is a brand that traded its reputation for a sticker. 9. Viking, the golden anchor. We close with the king of the kitchen. If you see Viking, think high-maintenance ego. While other brands on this list fail because they are built cheaply, Viking fails because of engineering arrogance. The pattern is electronic overheat. They pack heavy-duty, high BTU professional burners into residential cabinets, and that intense trapped heat eventually cooks the control boards and the plastic insulated wiring meant to run the oven. The financial blow is staggering. A simple $50 ignition switch or a door hinge fails, but because it is a luxury brand, the part is marked up to $400 and the specialized labor costs another $400. You end up with a $1,000 bill for a range that cost $8,000. But that is when the repair turns into a losing math problem. It is the ultimate strike three, a design that makes the machine its own worst enemy. It is not an accident, it is a lifestyle tax. Viking proves that paying more does not buy durability. It just buys you a more expensive seat in the repair shop waiting room. After looking at this graveyard of brands, you are probably wondering, then what is left for me to buy? Here is the answer, and it is going to annoy you. Because it is not found in a logo, it is found in your mindset to make sure your next purchase does not end up in my shop before its second birthday. You need to apply 3 golden rules that separate real machines from shiny scrap metal. Rule number 1, fewer features, fewer points of failure. If your refrigerator has a screen that connects to the internet, it has a processor that can fail. If your washing machine has 20 smart cycles, it has 20 sensors that can die. Every luxury is just a component you do not need, and one day it becomes the failure point you pay for. Rule number 2, if it is sealed, assume it is disposable. When you are at the store, look closely. If the washing machine tub has no screws, or if the refrigerator's back panel is riveted and glued shut, run. Those machines are designed as black boxes. When one thing fails, the system forces you to replace the whole unit because there is no access for a technician. Rule number 3, buy where there are spare parts and local service. Before you swipe your card, do a quick test. Look up the exact model on an online parts store. If the most common part is out of stock or costs half the price of the machine, leave it there. Do not buy a brand that does not have an army of technicians and a steady supply of parts in your city. And always remember this, shop like an auditor, not like a tourist in a showroom. The salesperson wants you to fall in love with the LED lights. I want you to look at the bolts, the access panels, and the part availability. We are living in the era of planned obsolescence. The brands want you to replace. They win when you throw your money in the trash to buy next year's model. But you want to repair. You want something that lasts. You want something honest. So it is time to change the rules. Stop buying the shine and the high-end finishes. Start buying access. Access to spare parts. Access to screws. Access to real technical service. Do not let your home become a dumping ground for useless technology. If you want to see the white list, the brands a mechanic would actually have in his own home, and the ones that are truly worth every cent, click the video appearing right now. In that video, I'll show you which brands still sell parts for years, which designs are screw-based, and what models technicians actually buy. I will see you in the shop. I will see you in the shop. I will see you in the shop.